What's happening, everybody? I'm the Bald King Nostalgic, and it's the SlickBlast RapCast. I have a special guest on tonight. He is a part of the Diggs bloodline. Shout out to Hector, shout out to my nephew, shout out to everybody that's going to be on. As Heck knows, he was with me there live in that epic Wu-Tang show. It was the Jizza, Raekwon, and Ghostface Killah. It was the Three Chambers tour at the Concord Theater here in Chicago, and it was phenomenal. And I thought it would be cool to just reach out to, absolutely, heck. Yeah, I thought it would be pretty dope and appropriate to reach out to Old Dirty Bastard's older brother. He's the one that set it off with his band, and they were phenomenal. So I'm going to chop it up with him, and we're going to definitely soak into the history of the Diggs family through Ramsey Satellite Jones' eyes, and it should be fun. Scorpio, what up, man? You will see in a few. No topics. I have a guest on, so you will see in a few. But yeah, so it should be fun, and gotta rep the Wu, of course. And definitely, I gotta definitely gonna go back in time and revisit some of his memories, his childhood memories. I think that'll be fun too, to hear some stories from his perspective. And yes, brother, yes, sir. All right. So what I'll do is satellite should be on in a few. We just communicated actually a couple minutes before I got on. So I'm pretty hyped. Yeah. Love the fact that he was down to do it too. No hesitation. And that's super cool, That's a beautiful thing, That's what, and interaction is a beautiful thing. So this is what we do here on SlickBlast RapCast. Hope everybody's Tuesday's been going sweet and smooth, and looks like satellite is on. All right, my brother, if you could send a request, that'll be cool. That'll be beautiful. All right, because for some reason, still got to figure out this new phone. It's because I left the Android universe to transition to the Apple folks over here. So, yeah, man, it's pretty clear. So, all right, I'm gonna send. Let me see if I can send satellites. Just checking on you, my music brother, DJ E Money. Much love to you as well, man. Much love to you, and thank you for the wishes. Thank you for the wishes too, with the family. I appreciate that. All right. So we'll have Satellite Jones on in a few, so we can chop it up. And this should be a beautiful thing. I appreciate that, my brother. We can definitely use it. All right. That's right. I'm gonna go live. All right. Okay, I'm trying to figure out this phone, so getting the hang of it though. All right. All right, there he is.
What's up?
What's up, my brother? How are you, man?
I'm great, brother. I'm here on the Lower East Side, hanging out with some friends at a bar. So I figured this would be, I figured rather than have it from my my home, I want to give you more of a decor. As you can see, the lights.
Yeah, I like that. I like the element, man.
Right on. Cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers to cheers. You, my brother. Oh, I love it.
Right on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, man, I want to welcome you. You are part of the Diggs family tree, the historic Diggs family tree, and you are
Diggs and Jones. Diggs and Jones.
And
Cuffy.
Jones.
And Cuffy.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fun fact. I love it. I want to thank you first and foremost for being on with me, man. I appreciate this because obviously we were in Chicago witnessing some greatness, and I love the fact that you set it off nice, man. You just set the tone, and everybody was tuned in. And
yes,
I want to thank you for being on SlickBlast RapCast, and I want to give you
for
your
having
flowers.
me, man.
I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Right?
I stay humble, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got that $1 million smile, man. So
man, I'm just happy to be here and do what I do. This is the gift I was blessed with, and I'm doing it, brother. I'm doing it, and just hearing your words makes me validate what I do. So I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Respect.
Respect, definitely, man. All right, so if you don't mind, man, you guys are still touring with your cousin, right? You guys still
No,
touring?
no. Actually, my cousin just asked me to do to 2 shows, a Wednesday and Friday, and it happened to be the tour with Ghostface and Ghostface and Raekwon, the chef. So it was the 3 Chambers of Wu-Tang tour. So I was like, hey, this is cool. It's perfect that we are on this bill with them, because we usually do shows with Jizza. We've been playing with my cousin, the Funky Nomads. We've been playing with him for the past 13 years.
Wow.
12 years. And
Okay.
the first show we did was back in 2010, I believe. 2010. We played at Irving Plaza.
Wow.
Yeah. And from that point on, man, it was just like getting better and better, getting the band tighter, because I'm a stickler for like making sure that we play the tracks exactly the way the songs are on the record.
Right.
And that's the importance of like a band playing hip hop, because a lot of bands that play hip hop, they can't really play hip hop. They just like, they kind of stretch out and do other shit, but it loses the originality of what the sample that's on the song if you just stretch out too far, But we always stick close to the arrangements, and that's how I like it. That's how I like it. And sometimes we stretch out a little, just a little, but to give it more depth. But yeah, man, these 2 shows we did with my cousin, dude, it was beautiful. The reception from the people at Concord, man, Chicago. I love Chicago, man, and it's all love, brother. It's my 5th time being there, man. So it's all love.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
man. It was an electrifying intro. The way you came in, and me and my people that were there watching you guys were like, oh damn, he's snapping with this intro, and it was a beautiful show. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in a time right now, there were times that we're going through right now. I think we needed that, right? Everybody that was there physically, we all needed that. So,
of course.
Thank you again. We thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for being there and documenting it, and just giving the love, and if we give the love back, man, that's what it's all about, brother.
All right.
That's what it's all about.
So if you don't mind, man, I want to go back in time with you, man, personally as an artist, because you're very talented on your own.
Thank you.
So who are some of your influences? Because obviously, your family has a rich history of music influences and just being naturally gifted with music. But
yes.
Because you do the punk rock thing. So who are some of your personal influences that you can say you implemented and you became a product of yourself, right? And how you flourished as you as an individual.
Well, starting out, okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, my parents, both my parents, William and Cherry Jones, bore 6 kids. I was the firstborn. My nicknamed after actually named after my dad, William Jones. Then came my brother, Mark Jones. And then my sister, Monique Jones. And then my brother, ODB, which is Russell Jones, Russell Tyrone Jones.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
My sister, Dion Jones, she passed away in 2011 on my brother's birthday from pancreatic cancer. So, may she
very
rest
sorry
in
to
peace.
hear that.
Yeah, and then my last sister was Lamar and A. Jones. And I had another sister also that we took in. My father had outside the marriage.
Gotcha.
Aisha.
Okay.
But originally it was just 6 of us. And growing up in like the late 60s, 70s, I remember the first thing that I got exposed to, my father called me into the living room. This was 1970. I was 4 years old.
Wow.
My father called me into the living room. Said, son, watch the news with me. And it turned out to be Jimi Hendrix's obituary.
Wow.
Picture that.
Wow.
4 years old, watching the news, and Jimi Hendrix just passed.
Woo.
So the Beatles also broke up that year. Jim Morrison died that year. Janis Joplin died that year, I believe. And so my father, what happened, I watched the news with my father, and I was fascinated with Jimi Hendrix, seeing his look and everything.
Yeah.
Soon after we saw that, he bought Are You Experience, the album, and he bought the Beatles' first album, Meet the Beatles. Now, me as a 4-year-old, we had a record player. My father bought us a record player that I shared with my brothers and sisters.
Right.
So we had our Sesame Street record, because Sesame Street debuted in '69.
Wow. Classic.
See? Right. So
yeah.
He bought that record for us, but he also bought Are You Experience and the Beatles' Meet the Beatles first album.
Wow.
Dude, I remember putting on Are You Experience and was fascinated looking at the cover and seeing, wow, this brother has like 2 white guys next to him with afros.
Right.
But the music was so mind-blowing. I heard Purple Haze, and I was like, yo, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And that set me on the course of what I became now, what I am now.
Yes.
The Beatles also what played a major factor in my growth as a musician. Both those artists were like very integral to my my makeup as an artist.
Right.
So my mother realized I could play drums, because she used to take out pots and pans and noticed I had the talent of playing beats on the pots and pans. This was back in 1971.
Okay.
So we went to my mother took us to Coney Island to her sister house, Rosetta, my aunt Rosetta, and she said, "Yo sis, check out Ramsey." So she takes out the Tupperwares and sees me playing the Tupperwares, playing beats, and she put on Eddie Kendrick's "Girl, You Gotta Change Your Mind."
Ooh.
Yeah, the People Hold On album.
Yeah.
And I played to that record, and my aunt was like, "Whoa, this boy's talent. This boy, like, he can play beats."
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to a lot of my father's record collection. My father had he had Samande, he had Mandrill, he had Hendrix. I listened to rock. That's how I got into rock, because I listened to Hendrix and the Beatles.
So it was
at
Jimmy.
a very
The
young
Beatles
age.
did it for you. Yeah.
Exactly. And at the time, in the '70s, early '70s, I listened to a lot of the soul funk bands, and disco was just coming out.
All right.
So you had groups that were they didn't call it, they called it disco, but it was still funk.
Okay.
It was still funky, like dance music.
Yeah.
Like the Fatback Band, Jimmy Castor Bunch.
Okay.
The Crown Heights Affair. Crown Heights Affair was disco, but I grew up listening to all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then disco was coming out. So at that same time, when I was I graduated from the 8th grade. I graduated from the 8th grade, went into high school. That's when I started listening to The Clash, the Sex Pistols. Yeah. So
dope.
I was open to a lot of rock. I mean, I was a rocker even from the beginning.
Right.
And I used to get teased. My cousin RZA would come over my house in Linden. We lived in Linden Plaza, and they lived in Staten Island.
Okay.
Because originally, RZA, Robert Diggs, that's his government name.
Yep.
They lived in Crown Heights. And we used to go visit them, and they used to come over our house in 1765 Prospect Place. And then that was in Brownsville, because I grew up in Brownsville.
Okay, Brownsville, okay.
Brownsville Projects. Mike Tyson grew up in the same neighborhood, man.
Yep.
Around the same time. So my parents moved from there, and we moved to 1765 Prospect Place. The Tomahawks actually were in that building that we lived in. Because in that time, you got to remember, it was gangs. That was the era of the gangs. You had the Jolly Stompers. You had the Black Spades. They were in the Bronx, but you had the Tomahawks that were in our area, in Brownsville. So for me, I went outside with my friends, but a lot of times to escape being robbed all the time by the gangs,
yeah,
I would stay inside and listen to music, listen to my father's record collection.
Smart. Smart.
And that's what kept me out of trouble. I hung with my friends. Went outside with my friends, and we did our things. We would skateboard and dive off of pissy beds into the sandbox. Yo, we did that shit. You can't, we did that shit back in those days.
Yeah.
So, like, music was the main thing in my life that helped me, and in my brothers and sisters' lives, that helped us stay together, like stay tight.
Right.
You know, when I would play records in my house, I would listen to Hendrix, and I listened to Samande, and my brother ODB was like, yo, could I join in? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because I always grabbed a broom and pretend I'm playing guitar like Hendrix. So I'd take a coat hanger and give it to him, like 2 coat hangers. I said, use that as drums, use that as drumsticks. So we all were like a musical family. We like stayed tight, you know?
Wow.
So, yeah. So when I graduated from public school, I went to the 9th grade. That's when I started listening to like Black Sabbath and The Clash and Kiss.
Okay.
AC/DC, you know. So I was always been a rocker. My cousin used to tease me. RZA used to tease me. He'd come over to the house. Yeah, why you listen to that white boy music? And I had my friends also that would tease me a lot.
Yeah.
But I like, dude, I love this music, man. It's no color. It's just music.
It's music. Yeah.
Right. And funny thing, my cousin RZA, like back like maybe 5 years ago, he's on stage playing chess with Yoko Ono. So it's full circle. Isn't
Full
that
circle.
crazy? Yeah, Yoko Ono's husband was John Lennon from the Beatles.
Exactly.
So it's full circle. So he ended up appreciating the music.
You know what he's saying to himself in that moment? He's like, I'm sorry, cuz, for busting your chops.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see. Now I get it.
Yes. So
that's beautiful.
So that's why I've always been a sponge, soaking up every influence, like a music that was a part of my life. And still, to this day, I'll be 56 next week. November 2nd is my birthday, next week. My brother ODB's birthday is on the 15th, you know, so
wow.
A lot of what I listen to rubbed up on him a lot.
Really?
Take you. Hold on, I'm going to say goodbye to a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, do you think? Yeah.
Hopefully you get to see Renee on Saturday.
Yes.
Oh, is it Friday?
Yes, Friday.
2 o'clock it starts.
No,
Hold on, bro.
Do
We're
you
going
think?
at probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You see, this is live. This is not Memorex. This is live, not Memorex.
I love it.
All right. Same here. No,
I
that's
like
what
your
we're
energy.
saying.
I like your
Brother,
energy.
you know, this is the type of podcast that should be like you know, natural. Everything's happening and all that.
I like it.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
absolutely.
getting back to what I was saying though, like growing up, I used to be ostracized a lot by my friends about the music that I listened to. You know, but I didn't care what they said. You know, for
Right.
me, I loved it. You know, and it just helped me to be more versatile.
Yes.
With other artists that I've worked with throughout
Right.
the years. You know, so the punk groups that I play in, I'll tell you 3 of them. I play in a band called Rebelmatic. We did an album called Ghost in the Shadows.
I was looking at
Came
that.
out, it came out last year. It's killer record.
Hmm.
My other band is Maafa, Maafa. That's
Okay.
more progressive hardcore. I'll get back to the Wu-Tang and all
Oh
that.
yeah,
history.
definitely. Yeah. It's,
But
right now it's all about you. Definitely.
Yeah. So, my second band is Maafa, Maafa. We just recorded 7 songs for an album in Woodstock 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So it's like progressive. It's like Afro progressive hardcore. So imagine hardcore with djembe and Afro Brazilian rhythms in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds dope.
Yeah, so check out Maafa, Maafa, and my other band, Rebelmatic. The third
Okay.
band is Backslider, which is BACH Slider. Backslider.
Backslider?
Yeah, that's more like a no wave post punk group.
Okay.
Yeah, Honey Child Coleman is on bass, and Anu on guitar. Anu is spelled Annu.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I'll do every style of music, man. I've done Hindi music, I've done country music, I've done psychedelic rock, I've done metal, everything, funk, disco, everything, bro.
That's so
I even
dope.
play in a ABBA tribute band.
Wow.
Called Dancing Dream.
Wow, that's a dope name. I like that.
Yeah, Dancing Dream.
So
I do everything, man. But yeah, go ahead.
Versatility, and that's one of my favorite words to use. You're versatile. Versatility is key in life, right? Not just in music, but in life. You have to be universal. You have to be the jack of all trades, you know? And that's
exactly.
That's the greatness of climbing outside that box. You can't just stay in that bubble because then people will, okay.
You stagnate. You stagnate.
You
your
can't
soul
do
doesn't
that.
grow. Right.
Right.
So that's why I get so many requests or calls from different musicians, different artists or bands. You know, I spread myself around, but it's beautiful for me because as a musician, it's all about learning. Like even new music, like I know a lot of artists or a lot of musicians today, they don't like trap music or they don't like the new music of now. They're like, oh, they're stuck in their own time.
Yeah, capsule.
You know, capsule. And I'm like, dude, I'm a musician. Iggy Pop said it too. He said, dude, I'm an artist and I have to stay fresh. I have to keep my mind fresh to hear what's new out there.
Right.
So I can be abreast of everything, you know?
Yes. And then you come up with your own sound and then it'll become something that's yours and people will say, oh damn, look what he's doing.
Right, exactly.
You know?
So, and that was the beauty, like growing up with, especially, you know, my cousin Rizza and Jizza and my brother. You know, my brother was very influenced by what I listened to, you know, growing up.
Being the big brother, you know, you were the big brother, so.
Right. So, you know, I played a lot of Hendrix and Black Sabbath around him and Kiss.
Yeah.
And also we listened to the Whispers and Teddy Pendergrass and Philadelphia International. Woo! You know, all that stuff, brother. All that stuff. And then I got into new wave and all that, you know, Blondie and the Police, Bauhaus, Dead Kennedys, you know, all that shit. Then I started listening to like shoegaze. You know, I get into everything, man. Like My Bloody Valentine, Ride. It's so many groups, man. But this is how wide my music palette is.
That's beautiful that it is. You have an extended range, right?
Yes.
Yes. So what I'm gonna do, I think this would be cool. I'm gonna name some groups that I liked as a kid. Inspired like my older cousins as well. And you know, you get influenced. Social Distortion.
Yes, Social Distortion, man.
They're dope. I
know.
You know, like I never knew that I would like it, but I was like, oh damn, these dudes are crazy. But the music is like they're saying stuff to you, they're speaking to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, I've loved them since day one.
Yes. I was in a band called Funk Face that were heavily influenced by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay,
and they were close. Funk Face, yeah. We got a bunch of albums out. We're not performing as much as we used to back in like they were big around like the 90s.
Okay.
Like 90s up to 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
But we have a video out which was on the Tony Hawk video game.
What?
Yes, Project 6, I think. We have a song called Zoo York City.
Okay, I gotta write that down. You said the Tony Hawk video game?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Project 6, I think, and my band recorded the song Zoo York City.
Zoo York City, okay.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube. Yeah, there's a video on YouTube, so check it out.
That's gotta be an honor. I mean, that's pretty awesome that you guys were on a Tony Hawk video game. He's like the Michael Jordan of skateboarding.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, you know, but I wouldn't expect anything less from the the family tree, you know.
I just stay humble, brother. You know, I'm blessed to do what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and bring joy to people's lives. You know, through music.
Absolutely. So question. You want me to call you Satellite? You want me to call you Ramsey? What do you
You can call me Ramsey, brother.
Got you.
And I'll tell you how Ramsey came about.
All right.
I'm named after my dad, William Jones.
Okay.
Senior, right? Ramsey came about from my Aunt Hilda. When we lived in Brownsville, Ramsey Lewis was very big at the time. He had all the albums like Wade in the Water. They were all on the Chess label. So my parents owned those records. So my aunt one day just said, call me Ramsey. And I turned around and responded. And she said, when you responded to me calling you Ramsey, that's when it stuck. So we just nicknamed you Ramsey.
I love it.
After a famous jazz pianist. So it was cool, man.
That's gotta be dope. And that's a cool name on top of that. You don't hear too many Ramseys.
Yeah. That's true. Even yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know who I thought about with, I think that it's, so I have this segment called Mix and Match, and eventually I'll be inviting you. I had on Kurok Ski of the Fat Boys, like we talked about.
Yeah.
I had him on my Mix and Match, and it was entertaining. It's basically dream scenarios. So if Ramsey comes up with a list of 10, you create and build your own combo of duos, groups, whatever you want. So it could be John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, and Ramsey, produced by Rick Rubin. And you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I got you.
So I had a scenario where I pictured you, the RZA, System of a Down.
Oh yeah.
And Rage Against the
Rage
Machine.
Against the Machine, of course, brother.
All of
exactly.
you are together, like doing something, like a project. I was manifesting that as I was doing in my head, like what if, right?
Like the Marvel comics. What if?
There you go. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I think I find it fascinating, just when you can use your imagination and take it to the farthest realm. And it's cool, man, because you never know. It can happen in reality. Like, it can happen in real life, for the people that are physically still here,
Yes. I can imagine. I'm trying to. The producer who produced Nirvana.
I forget his name.
And he's in the band Garbage too. Butch
Ooh.
Vig. I think it's Butch Vig.
Okay.
I may be wrong. Because I'm a stickler for a history of artists or what records they played on, or musicians. Because when I would listen to an album, I always read the credits.
Yes, it's
who
important.
played on it,
Yeah.
Who put this album together? Who engineered it? Who produced it? So.
Yeah. Who invited this garage band into this garage? How did they start foundation?
Indeed.
Yeah. So I think it'll be dope, man, to just you soak up your brain and just drop a list of your custom 10, and I think that'll be interesting. Because it's interesting to hear everybody's perspective, in that respect. So.
I would love a collaboration, probably Pete Rock,
Ooh.
Ninth Wonder, my cousin RZA, and Premier.
Oh my Lord, have
DJ
mercy.
Premier.
Ramsey? You know what's nuts? Great minds think alike, and the reason why I say that is because I've used this reference for the last 12 years. I've said the Ninth Wonder. If RZA and Pete Rock had a baby, Ninth Wonder is the baby coming out.
Indeed.
You saying that? It's valid. It's valid. You validated it. So I'm glad that you said that.
I got to tell you a story about Pete Rock.
Throw it at us.
My cousin and him, they were. I think remember when Manhattan. We had a blackout here in Manhattan, 2000. I forgot the year.
Okay.
But my cousin called me up and said, "Hey man, I need some keyboards on a track."
Ooh.
I said, "All right, I'm gonna get my friend to come down." So I called my friend up. I said, "Hey man, would you come down to the studio?" So he said, "Could I bring some peeps?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I don't think my cousin would mind." Yeah. So it was at the 36 Chambers. Where he moved the 36 Chambers from Herald Square. That was the original 36 Chambers. He moved it to near the west. I think it was near the West Side Highway.
Okay.
Right. And I walk into the I'm walking into the lobby, but it's like an outdoor courtyard. As I'm walking into the courtyard, Pete Rock comes out of the building, walks past me. I said, "Yo, Pete." Turns around, looks at me. "Yo, what's up? What's up?" I was like, "Are you working with my cousin tonight?" He goes, "Yeah." Fuck. I said, "Okay." So he said, "Yo, I'm going to the bodega. You want anything?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll see you when you come back."
Yeah.
So I called my keyboardist up. I said, "Yo, his name is Emmy Augustin." I said, "Yo,
Okay.
Emmy."
Shout out to Emmy.
I said, "Yo, you won't believe who I just walked past coming out of the building, out of the 36 Chevy." He said, "Who?" He said, "Pete Rock." He said, "Get the fuck out of here." He's like, "Dude, something's going to happen tonight. I don't know what it is, but we're going to bear witness to it." So he comes with his friends. My friend comes with his friends, comes up the elevator. We sit in the control room. My cousin Rizza says, "Hey, guys, apparently the board is out because the blackout knocked out part of the board, so we can't really do anything. We can't record anything." I was like, "Fuck."
Damn.
But we can play each other's songs. I was like, "Word?" Unreleased shit. So
Oh my
Pete
God.
Rock went up first. He just put his USB in. Yo, we were sitting there looking at each other like, wow. Like we were like we were like girls like, ah!
You're like this.
Yeah, yo. The tracks Pete Rock played, unreleased shit, we were like, yo, what the fuck? Dude, my cousin did a wordless, like gave him a pound.
Yeah.
Then my cousin put it on his tracks, and we were like, yo, like, they haven't put this shit out yet. They gave each other mutual respect.
Wow.
That's what we did. We just listened to unreleased tracks that they both did.
Oh my
that
God.
night. After that night, we finished. My cousin said, "Yo, I'm sorry we couldn't record anything." Dude, I said, "Dude, that's okay."
It don't matter.
Dude, we got in the car and drove back into Brooklyn, and we were geeking out. We were like, "Yo, you know that? What song was that Pete Rock played? What song was that your cousin played?" We were like, "Yo, the shit was bananas, dude." We just like, we're in a secret session listening to their unreleased shit.
Bro, I mean, here's the thing. Your eardrums were blessed that evening, or whatever time of the day it was. Your eardrums were blessed, and the other guy that was there too. That's crazy.
Man. Yes.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful, man. And that's the great things I remember, working with my cousin, because a lot of the tracks we did was at the original 36 Chambers. The first track I did with my cousin, first recorded thing I did was the Riddler.
Ooh, yes! In
I played
the Batman,
the Batman,
soundtrack
yeah.
in '95.
Right, I played bass on it. And
oh my God.
The crazy story about that is,
Oof.
my cousin picked me up from Tower. I was working at Tower Records on East 4th Street.
Rest in peace, Tower Records, by the way.
Yes, I worked there for 16 years, from 90 up until 2006, December 25th,
Oh
Christmas Day.
Wow.
No, Christmas Eve, it closed. And I'm almost done. Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna finish this out. So, and the thing that's memorable about that year was that Christmas was James Brown died the next day.
What?
Yes, December 25th, 2006, James Brown died.
Okay.
That day.
Now I'm remembering now as you're saying.
The 24th, Tower Records closed, right? So, anyway, I was before Tower closed. My cousin picked me up from Tower. We drove to Staten Island, and he says, "Hey, I want you to play this track." So I'm listening to it. It's the Batman theme. I'm like, "Okay, what do you want?" He says, "Bass. I want you to play bass on it." So he gives me a bass guitar. He said, "Yo, I just bought this off a crackhead for $5. I'm like, "What? Damn, $5?
Wow.
So I tuned this shit up.
That's a steal.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what? I literally went, "What's a bargain? That's a bargain for me." Tuned that shit up. And then he pressed play. And I listened to the track. I was like, okay. Then I just played bass, did it in 2 takes. And we listened to it, and I was like, yo, it needs something else. So I added some synth keys on it. That dun, da, da, dun.
Yeah.
It just sounded, it just needed some extra. So I just did that like in one take, last minute.
Wow.
And then he said, all right, it's done. Drove me home.
That's priceless, and I appreciate you saying the story because the Riddler video and just the song,
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it made it on the Batman soundtrack. My favorite superhero of all time is Batman. So
Me too. Me too.
yeah,
Me
dude,
too. And Spider-Man. And Spider-Man.
woo, you know what? We got to nerd out for another conversation. We got to nerd out on some Marvel and DC stuff.
Dude, I collected comics in the 70s. I collected the Spectacular Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Excuse me,
Okay.
I'm like jumbling words. My younger brother Mark Jones used to collect X-Men.
Whew.
Yeah, so I collected Harvey comics, like the Castman and Friendly Ghost, Marvel. He collected DC. My
Okay.
brother Mark Jones.
That's dope.
And we had different like interests. I collected Hot Wheels. He collected Matchbox cars.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a
In the
rivalry
70s.
going on.
Right, but it was a friendly rivalry because
absolutely.
we were really close. All my brothers and sisters, we were really close. So
That's beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
And
Wow,
my brother
man.
Mark had the afro in the family. My brother and I, Russell and I, didn't. My brother Mark was blessed with the afro.
Okay.
I used to be jealous. I said, yo, Mom, how come Mark has an afro and we don't?
Oh, hilarious.
Because, in the 70s, the Soul Train, and they were rocking the afros and afro sheen,
Oh. Oh, I gotta say though, man. That's another thing I've noticed. The RZA, your family members, you guys are blessed with the fountain of youth. I was joking around saying to my close friends and my cousin, he's a Wu fan. I said, these guys got a special fountain, a Wu fountain of youth in their backyard.
Yeah.
You guys drink it. Like, dude, you said, God bless you. You said 56?
Yeah, I'll be 56 next week, November 2nd. I'll tell you what the secret is, man. It's Guinness. Just kidding.
I love it. Oh, man. You know what? And obviously, man, you're enjoying life and you're living.
Yeah.
You're having fun. You're smiling. I think
what
that's
keeps
the
me young,
secret,
brother.
too. That's one of the secrets, too.
Yeah, that's what keeps me young. I have a 33-year-old son, and he's a writer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Ramsey
crazy.
Jones. He's a wrestling fanatic. He does wrestling reviews on heavy.com, and he does video game reviews. So he literally gets like consoles from the companies that he works for, that he writes reviews.
Wow.
Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, like everything.
What?
Yeah, he gets the controllers from Japan, and it's
dope.
It's amazing, but
so my some of my close friends call me the Puerto Rican Jerry Maguire of group chats. Yeah.
I love that.
I got a lot of group chats: hip hop, wrestling, sports. Horror movies. I'm a big horror movie fan. So
me too.
I think it would be dope to invite your son on the wrestling group chat, and then I'm gonna holler at you too because action figures. The 80 comic books.
My son and I have like he has the Funko stuff. The Funko models. I got like
the figures.
I got Beatles. I got the Todd McFarlane Beatles dolls. I got the Jimi Hendrix dolls from Monterey a lot.
Oh,
I got the
my
Yellow
God.
Submarine dolls. I got like all the Spawn issues, the first issue up. Yeah, dude. All the Image comics. I got, dude. Still have.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Kuroksky of the Fat Boys. He's become a friend of mine. I'm gonna invite you into the action figures junkies group chat because I think that you would blend in perfectly with us. We're just a bunch of nerds.
I know.
That love toys, action figures, and all the comic, all that stuff. So
I'm still, dude. I'm all into it. Even a lot of the new hip hop that, like, I go on Bandcamp and discover a lot of new hip hop, like underground shit. 'Cause, like I said, I'm always like keeping my mind fresh. and
Yes.
abreast of what's going on out there, you know? Because,
Hey.
hey, I'm a hip-hop head, man, so.
I love it. I love it. And so not only so remember so I started. I'm an MC. Aside from this whole podcasting, I'm also an MC.
Yeah.
So the obviously the definition behind my name, nostalgic, is everything from my upbringing and late 70s, 80s, 90s,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
yeah, man, I'm just thinking I got some good ideas right now, but we can talk about that off air when you on another time when you're relaxing and stuff like
Dude,
that.
I'm around.
All right, that's good to know. Any dope stuff, and I appreciate you being on with me because I know you're out there enjoying yourself. So I appreciate you.
Hey, I'm enjoying being on your show, brother. So
I appreciate you, man. That means a lot. Let me ask you this because I ask every guest, so it's only right to bless you. All right. 3, dead or alive, Ramsey. It could be any element. It could be rock, hip hop, breakdancers, comic book, anything.
Yeah.
3 people, dead or alive. If they reached out to you this Saturday, this weekend, take your time. 3. Who would you work with to do a project with in any category? 3 people that come to your mind as we're
3 people. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a lot.
Quincy Jones.
Woo! Yes.
Number 2. That's it's hard.
I can throw some names out there too to help you.
All right.
Okay.
Group wise. Okay, that's a producer. Group wise. Probably. I would love to work with either like Zach De La Roca from Rage Against the Machine.
As you discussed earlier.
Or the whole band, actually. I would love to work with them. Or Ty Segall. He's like a amazing musician, artist. This guy's prolific. Like
he is.
Ty Segall, I would love to work with.
Dope.
Like collaborate with.
I like it.
And number 3, maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think maybe Quentin Tarantino.
Oh my God. That's
Tarantino.
A trifecta. That's a trifecta of dopeness.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino I would love to work with. I actually met him at a record store that I worked at. Rocket Scientist. Yeah, Rocket Scientist. He literally walked in looking for records, and I walked up to him. I says, Mr. Tarantino, my cousin is RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. He says, that's your cousin? I go, yeah. He's like, oh, shit. So I said, dude, I'm a big fan of your movies, man. I like Ghost Dog. I mean, that's...
Woo!
Yeah.
Ghost Dog is from A. To this day,
yeah.
I've been trying to get my hands on the original copy of Ghost Dog, and I know my cousin is on here. I call my cousin he's Cuban and Puerto Rican because I'm Puerto Rican. I call him the Cuban Rican version because my cousin made beats in the '90s from the PlayStation. So
yeah.
He's a great dude, but good human being.
Actually, Kill Bill, I would say Kill Bill.
Kill Bill. But Ghost Dog, Ghost Dog.
Yeah, Ghost Dog is amazing. Yes.
And your cousin, by the way, that soundtrack is ahead of its time.
There's two versions of that soundtrack. You know that, right?
Wait.
Two different
variations?
Variation songs, yeah.
Okay, because the original one obviously we got as CD when it came out, but the other one you're talking about, I haven't got my hands on that.
Yeah, there's like different songs I think on the other version. I think it's either
Wow.
Yeah. So. Damn,
that's insane. That's insane. And
yeah. So those three definitely.
Okay, that's phenomenal, man. I love it. That's phenomenal. I wanted to ask you, man. Obviously, Old Dirty Bastard. You and him are blood brothers.
Yep.
Any cool stories? Any funny stories that stand out to you? Because there's a lot of them, I'm sure. Because he was unique in his own right. And
very unique.
Very unique. A-Sean unique. You know.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I can tell you this story. Okay.
Go for it.
We grew up in, when we moved from Brownsville, we moved to Linden Plaza, right off on Linden Boulevard. And right across the street used to be a TSS. And my brother Mark, he's like next in line, like after me.
Okay.
And he's autistic. I found out he was autistic back in 2000, like right after my sister Monique, sister Dion passed away.
Okay.
I found out he was autistic. Thank you. I found out he was autistic at that year because,
really?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. He came over to my house to stay because he came with his wife and his daughter.
Yeah.
And his son to we were going to go to my sister's funeral in the wake.
Right.
So he stayed over my house. So I brought up I had a conversation with him about what is he doing with his life because he was in the Navy. He served in the Navy and he was kind of working for the Navy. But at the time, I said, "What are you doing? What do you do like during the day?" He says, "Oh, I watch cartoons."
Oh.
So I was like, okay, well, what else do you do? Oh, I just watch cartoons. And it was so childlike because we always knew he was that way when growing up.
Right, you figured it out.
Right, but even at that time, I thought it was weird. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I watch cartoons, but he was like, his behavior was like childlike as he was when we was growing up.
Okay.
So the next day I went to work and I was talking to a friend on the phone. I said, yeah, my brother came over, because my sister passed away, so he came over to stay at my house. I let him stay at my house. And I posed a question to him about, what is he doing with his life? And he says, oh, I watch cartoons. And I was like, what? And my friend immediately said, your brother's autistic. And
wow.
Dude, the shades like opened up. I was like, shit. She put that.
You put two and two together.
Right, and we didn't know that our whole lives. So what I did, I called my mom. I called my dad up right after. I said, yo, Dad, did you know Marky was autistic? He says, and then he paused. He said, yes, son. We didn't want him growing up. We didn't want you guys feeling that we were treating him more special than you guys.
Right.
I said, wow, I didn't, because my friend like revealed it to me. By just having a small conversation, and then I was like, "Wow, okay, this is why he's the way he is."
Yeah.
We never knew because we thought he was slow,
right?
But they didn't have that type of way of diagnosing that then in the 70s.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, "Wow." So I understood. So I was like, "Okay."
You know what?
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way I see that, that's a uniqueness, and that's special. And you have your own way of looking at life, and
yeah.
And that's awesome that that's awesome though that he's still, he was still creative in his own way.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He definitely is. And that's why I got to accept it, because
right.
I was like, wow, because I was like always wondering why he was always slow when he was young, and
right.
my friend opened my eyes when she said he's autistic. I was like, wow, okay.
Wow.
So I called my father and my mother, and they said that they didn't want us to know.
Okay.
And even then they didn't. I mean, they didn't have that in the vocabulary, autism.
Right.
But now years later we know. So I said, okay. And then so now I understand. And I love my brothers. I love all family. I love all my family.
Yeah. And hats off to your parents too for doing that. I think that was very nurturing and thoughtful.
Yeah.
That, they were careful, right?
Yeah, they were careful. Because my father didn't want us, like he said, my father told me, hey, we didn't want you to feel like we were treating him better than you.
Right.
And I said, all right, Dad, I understand.
That's a beautiful story. And
cheers.
Cheers, absolutely. Once again, there's the Barker Nostalgia kicking it with the iconic Ramsey Jones.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. And again, do you keep in touch with Russell, Old Dirty Bastards?
No.
Right.
His kids, my nephews, nieces and nephews? Oh, yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, man. I love all of them, man. I always make sure I reach out to them on Instagram or Facebook and tell them I love you guys, and I'm proud of you guys doing your thing, and you're making the music. Like all my nieces and nephews are involved in hip hop in some capacity. Like, whether producing, making videos, they're doing it, and I support them.
That's dope. That's super dope.
You know, I support them all. So,
absolutely.
You know, I'm the oldest, so you know I gotta let them know. You know, your Uncle Ramsey's here. You know, do your thing. I know they follow me too, so
yeah, absolutely. They're following, they're watching.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
Absolutely. And courtesy of the homie DJ Hector V, my brother, he's asking what was the funny story of ODB. So he wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all
Thank
right.
you, Hector.
I'm gonna tell you this story. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying it, and I kind of went to another direction.
No,
anyway,
that's perfect.
We were living in Linden Plaza at the time. It was 1980. I think it was 1983, 84. So that, like I was saying, my younger brother, Mark Jones, is autistic, right?
Right.
And he was always quiet and whatnot. Never harmed a fly.
Wow.
My brother ODB, he had a penchant for teasing not only my sisters, you know, his sisters, he teased my brother this one particular night.
Oh.
Right? Dude, my brother Mark couldn't take it anymore, and he punched my brother in the face. And I was like Eddie Murphy, like,
yeah.
and my mother came. I said, Mom, Marky punched Russell out. And my brother was lying on the floor, and my mother was shocked because my brother Mark was so meek and quiet.
Right.
But he couldn't take it no more, and I was shocked that he punched my brother in the face, knocked him. Now he didn't knock him out, but he punched him in the face, and my brother was crying, and I was like this, like, what?
What just happened?
Yeah, and I said, Mark, you punched Russell in the face? He said, he's bothering me. I'm like, I never seen you do that before. My mother was like, and she didn't hit my brother. She was in shock.
Yeah.
He was never known to hit anybody. But that was the first time. But they made up. They made up afterwards. But my brother was like, he reminded him, like, yeah, you remember the time you hit me in my face? In the living room?
Oh.
Yeah, man. But
so your Thanksgivings had to be entertaining with you, Old Dirty, and Marissa, and all you guys talking.
Yeah, we do.
Thanksgiving was.
My cousin Rizza used to come over to the house in Linden Plaza, right? From Staten Island, and we would watch Kung Fu Cinema on Channel 5 every Saturday.
Wow.
Every Saturday. And that's when I knew my cousin was really into the whole martial arts, the whole discipline, and that's what informed him to create Wu-Tang, the Wu-Tang Clan. Because it wasn't some superficial shit. He was wholeheartedly into it.
Yes, he was.
You know?
Oh.
Right. So
genuine.
It was genuine. So, and we used to watch. We used to go to 42nd Street and go watch the Kung Fu flicks right on 42nd Street.
Wow.
And those rundown theaters back in the days, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much what informed his music, his ideals of what he wanted Wu-Tang to be, like many formidable lyricists.
Yes.
Like coming at you with different styles, just like in those Kung Fu flicks. You know, you had the snake style, the crane style. You know, all that shit was effective but in their own way. You know, and that's what he accomplished.
That and look how that turned out.
Right.
Look how that turned out.
I want to add too, when they got signed, what happened was my cousin King, Riz's oldest brother, visited me at Tower Video. Said, yo, cuz, RZA got everybody signed. I was like, everybody? What do you mean? I didn't know about Ghostface. I didn't know about Method Man. Those were new to me. He said, yeah, he got your brother signed. He got Ghostface. I was like, Ghostface? Who's Ghostface?
Who's that
you got
character?
Method Man. You got Raekwon. I'm like, who's that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's great. He said, yo, it's the first deal that has happened like in music industry, like in the music industry, getting each individual rapper their own deal, but also having the group. So that was like the first.
Monumental. That's monumental.
That was monumental, and they picked me up. RZA and Randy picked me up from work. His brother King. I call him King.
Yeah.
Picked me up from Tower Video. Drove me to to Broadway, East New York in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
To catch the A train. On the way, they were like, yo, cuz, check out these two songs. So I heard they put the tape on. After laughter comes tears. And I heard that beat, and I was like, "Yo, this shit is hot."
Yeah.
And then I'm on the phone, brother. I'm on the phone. Thank you. This is what you get. It's live, not Memorex.
Right.
Anyway, they played that song for me, Tears, right? So they took it off. He says, "Okay, what do you think about this song?" They put on cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. And I heard that. I was like, and my cousin, after he played it, he said, "Yo, what should be the single?" I said, "Cream." Rest is history.
Woo!
I got out the car. Took my A train home.
And you were happy.
Yes, very happy.
You were happy.
They chose the song that I picked.
Wow, that's historic. That's historic in every way possible.
Yep.
And Ramsey, and I have to stress this. This is important because the younger generation and for the late bloomers of hip hop and music in general that just started liking this stuff,
Yes.
I would say, I'm a Chicago guy, and Kanye did his thing. Obviously, he was with the soul music. But I always say, me, a Chicago kid, I always say, there would be no Kanye West, there would be no Apollo Brown, there would be all these soul beat.
And I love all those guys. I love all those guys.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But there would be none of those guys or ninth if it wasn't for your cousin.
Yep.
I have to speak. That's the factual thing about it.
Thank you.
That's factual.
Thank you. Yeah, he was totally into Stax, the Stax sound, and that was the important element in a lot of the Wu-Tang makeup, the music, the samples. So that was like I remember I was in LA. My cousin flew me to LA to do a session with Corinne Belly Ray.
Oh yeah, she's talented. Yeah.
So
talented singer.
We were at the studio, I think it was Paramount Studios in Hollywood.
Okay.
And my cousin played me an instrumental version of Blind Alley.
Ooh.
I was like, yo, cuz, where does this come from? He says, I own it. I'm like, wait a minute. You own the Stax? He said, yeah, I own all the Stax recordings. I bought all the master tapes. I own it. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, I never heard an instrumental of Blind Alley. That shit, I heard like a different take of it. That's what I'm saying. Not the instrumental version of what we all know.
Right.
It was a different take of it. And I was like, yo, where'd you get this from? He says, oh, I own it. Nonchalantly. I'm like, what?
Like nothing. Like it was cool.
Yeah, I'm like, what? So I was like, okay. I just like, okay, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by all these phenomenal stories, man. You're just obviously taking us to memory lane, but in your eyes, and I appreciate, and we all appreciate your great stories. This is beautiful, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we bounce out, man, so you can continue your wonderful night and have a good time. Is there anybody that you want to shout out in particular in your life that's special, or just it could be anybody that you want to shout out?
Sure. I mean, I want to definitely shout out my parents, William and Cherry Jones, for without them, and also my grandmother, my mother's mother, Gertrude Cuffey. We wouldn't be, without them, we wouldn't be here. There would have been no Russell Jones. There would have been no William, no Mark, Dion, Lamar, and A. Monique Jones.
Right.
You know, that with them, man, we you know, and also my aunt Linda Diggs was Riz's mother,
Okay.
who passed. But also I want to give a shout. You know, I'm going to give a shout
Yeah.
out to his mother.
Yeah.
Also, I got to give a shout out to my wife Carolyn Richardson and my son Elton Jones
All right. Beautiful.
and the Wu-Tang Clan. The
Woo!
Wu-Tang Clan. My cousin's music and the group changed the world.
Yes.
And my brother ODB. So
You know what? He was one of a kind, man. That guy, he was one of
yes,
a kind.
thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And
So
I am thankful and blessed for all the people that were, you know, they've come up to me and told me how much the Wu-Tang and my brother influenced their lives and the music and how impactful it was on their lives. So, you know, I'm really humbled,
yeah.
you know, by that. And dude, it's the love, you know. Hey,
Yeah.
that's why I stay youthful, because I reciprocate the love.
Yes.
Doing what I do.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Profound words by Ramsey Jones. A good human being, obviously, and a down to earth brother. So, man,
there's not many.
there's not many. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, man, I would love to get you back on, though, man, when you have some free time.
I would love to be back.
All right, yeah,
yes.
We'll get you on the mix and match, and I would love to hear your list. That'll be phenomenal.
Cool.
My brother, it's been a pleasure and a blessing, man. Have a safe night, okay?
My brother, yes. You too. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Absolutely, man. God bless.
God bless, man.
Yes,
Looking
sir.
forward to the next episode.
Likewise. Sounds good. All right, my brother.
Peace, everyone.
Peace,
my brother.
Peace.
Yes.
All right, brother. We'll keep in touch.
Yes, definitely. Most definitely.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care, brother.
Peace. You too.
Peace.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ramsey Jones, the older brother of the Old Dirty Bastard, the cousin of the RZA and the Jizza, and he's a talented individual on his own. And I'm glad that he brought back a lot of great memories. And you know, it was nice that he took the time as he was out enjoying himself, as he should. So I'm glad that he was able to chop it up, and we were able to hear some dope stories. Rubik's One, I was lucky to be able to see the clan as a whole. Yeah, you know what? I was not fortunate to see Old Dirty, man. That's so I think it's special having this brother on, and again, you know, taking us down to memory lane through his eyes and his memories. So definitely gonna keep in touch. Thank you, Wes the Legend. I appreciate you. Give me a follow. Give this page a follow. SlickBlast RapCast, and there's more to come. This is what I do, man. I just chop it up with legends, current talented people in every facet of the elements, man. Whether it's art, emceeing, producing, breakdancers. I mean, the whole shebang, man. You know, hip hop is very important to me. It's an everyday. This hip hop is a lifestyle. Hip hop is in my blood. So I think this is important to share stories with all of us who love hip hop as well, as much as everybody else that's on with us. So yeah, please spread the good word out. SlickBlast RapCast. Please give SlickBlast RapCast a follow. My Nostalgic 34 page as well. You know, I put a lot of you know, I kind of mix it up with my personal page. I do horror stuff. I do action figures, hip hop memorabilia. You know, I've been on Show Off Your Gems, hosted by the phenomenal Destroy of the Arsonist. I've been on Show Off Your Gems 4 times. So I'm definitely an official gem head of that family. And, you know, so it's a beautiful thing, man. It's beautiful. My next guest will be Main Flow of the underground iconic group from Cincinnati, Mood. Remember that hit song Karma? Secret, man. A lot of phenomenal bangers produced by High Tech, Cincinnati's own Main Flow, who is also doing his acting thing. So, everyone, I want to thank everyone for being on. Again, don't forget to give SlickBlast RapCast a follow on IG. I will be posting this, so for anyone who missed it, you guys can get to see this phenomenal convo with Ramsey Jones and myself. Everybody have a blessed night. I am the Balkan Nostalgic, and this is SlickBlast RapCast. God bless.